And here we go. We should now be here. Hello, welcome to Band of Badgers. I'm Dave, your host for this evening, and this is the Great British Brush Off. And joining us around the paint pot again is returning pro artist Dwight Wade from Mini Terrain Domain, otherwise known as the Big Bearded Nerd. How you doing, Dwight? How's things?
I'm doing all right. Doing pretty good here. Finally getting some cooler weather here in Midwestern United States. So I have recently moved into an office in my garage that has no air conditioning. So I'm appreciative of the cooler temps.
It will get nice and cool for you. Exactly, yeah. And now also joining us around the paint pot is always Steve and Joe. How you doing, guys?
Good, thank you.
Good. Nice to know. And no, if you want to say something, say it. He's hiding now.
I've got a gin and tonic. I'm okay.
I didn't get. I should have got a beer. Oh well. Thank you, thank you always to WizKids. Thank you to Vallejo. But most of all, thank you to you for watching. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Now, if you didn't know, we as Band of Badgers, we support writers, artists, designers, and creators across the world from all of our various shows, and you can find all of our content on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Band of Badgers. And we've got loads of stuff on it. Just go and have a look. You have a good laugh. It'll be fine. Now, if you happen to have a RPG game or related product that you would like us to feature here, we can do a live unboxing. Maybe you want to be interviewed by us. Maybe you're kicking off a Kickstarter. Who knows? All you have to do is get in touch and we will help you as best we can. We even have guest player spots as well as guest GM spots, which is fantastic. And if you would like to support us in return, you can. We have all the stuff in all the usual places. We have, I can't remember these, Twitch subs, Patreon, merchandise, and even an Amazon wish list. Now, so before we get into this, now, Dwight, the last time you were here, we were painting some Orc Barbarians from WizKids.
Correct, yes.
Now, this time we're painting something a little bit different. Now, it's just on our screen. For our viewers can see it. It's on the left-hand side of the screen. This is called a brain collector. Now, I'm just going to switch my camera over and turn all the funky lights on so everyone can see properly. But look, I mean, I think this is the first monster we've had on Brush Off. This is something really epic. It's a slightly larger creature than normal. It's not a humanoid in any way. It is much more of a spider. And this thing is ugly as hell. But it has some really unique things. So if you can see that in the packet there's a plastic baggie in there. Now, it's not full of good stuff. But it is full of these caps that go on it. Because on this picture of this brain collector, there are these domes. And inside each dome is a brain. Now, obviously, if you're a hero and you want to fight this creature, there are lots of things to do. You've got eyeballs, you've got these things here, which I assume are also eyes. You've got the big open mouth, but you have all these multiple brains. So we're going to have a bit of fun cracking this open and having a look. So, Dwight, the first question is, how do you tackle something like this? Because we've only done humanoids and that kind of thing. We're learning different techniques.
Okay. Yeah.
Over to you.
So yeah, I'll go ahead and switch my my camera here too, so we can take a look at what I've got. So I've already gone ahead and taken them out of the packaging.
I'm gonna rip mine open now.
But yeah, so first thing I will say when painting something like this is be careful what brush you use. So don't use a good brush. Use a big, at least for the to start. And if I'll be honest, if I wasn't painting on live with y'all tonight, I would probably airbrush quite a bit of this, especially the base coats. But this, if you just see how rough and jagged the entire model is, this will tear your brush up. So don't use good brushes. As far as like planning to paint, so what I did for this one, I just kind of looked at the packaging and like just to kind of get a feel for the color schemes that are kind of planned for it and see how I feel about it. Sometimes I kind of stick with it. Sometimes I don't. I actually kind of like the general idea behind this one. It's like greens and purples. I like the way those look together. So I'm going to work with that. But sometimes I just go. I usually when I paint, I look through pictures to find inspiration. I don't. I'm personally not really good at looking at something being like, oh yeah, you know what, these three colors will go really well together. I have to kind of look through some ideas. I look at, and you can just Google, the name of whatever mini you're painting, and you'll find, examples of artwork out there, and just look for inspiration from there. Or if you don't have that specific mini, like maybe you've got something that's custom printed or something like that, then just go look through Pinterest or something like that to give you some character ideas. But I really like just kind of looking at pictures until I feel like, oh yeah, I like this. So that's kind of what I did here. Like I said, this one kind of stuck with me. I've got some different ideas for mine. Won't be probably as dark as this, but yeah, that's kind of how I go with these. So. I also, one thing I've mentioned, I think I might have mentioned this when I was here last time, but it's definitely a thing I've mentioned about WizKids in particular. I love their sculpts. I absolutely love what they do with their models, but they make them really, really hard to get at sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I did what's called a manual adjustment. I just ripped this right off of the base. This one is I wasn't worried about because it's glued in there. There's some adhesive. I just pulled until it popped loose. I would not recommend that for most models, but you can use like a heat gun or a blow dryer to kind of loosen some pieces up, and that'll help sometimes as well.
So that's
kind of how
that was more of a. So basically, to wrench this thing off is basically a bit of a pro tip. Sort of the first pro tip of the day.
Pull it off, because now you can paint this base and you can paint the underside of this model, and then I'll just super glue it back into place when I'm done.
Yeah.
When I'm ready. So
the base is actually pretty flat as well. You don't need the disc as such. I mean,
I would not add anything to this one. So I'm just going to start with this base. Actually, I'm going to put some black base coat. I'm just going to do some base coating and dry brushing on this base. Yeah, pretty straightforward.
I was just going to add, Dwight. I know. You adjusted your camera slightly because if you look on my screen, when you're painting, you're just off on our frame. So your mini cam, your mini that's it.
Yeah, let's move that over here.
Yeah, just because we have our little frame going around as well.
Yeah.
But cool. Okay, I'm gonna start with. I guess I'm gonna start with the green because. Joe, Steve, are you keeping to script or are you going off script? It's already been raised in the chat there.
I'm going jade green.
I'm going sick green.
And I am going to continue from last week's technique and attempt to wet blend a lot of this.
Ooh. I love the sound of that. I love wet blending.
So I've got a little hairdryer on the floor next to me, and
wow.
Here we go.
Steve is going for it.
I'm also going for greens as well, but I'm not sure if it's going to stick to what the picture on the back of the box is, but we'll see.
Again, I've got these. I buy these brushes on Amazon. They're like $6 for a package of them. I actually have them on an automatic delivery, so every other month I get 2 new packages of brushes, and these are my beat the crap out of them brushes.
You actually go through that many brushes?
So I use between applications like this where I'm just really beating up on stuff, and a lot of it I use for dry brushing, which again I just really beat up on brushes at that point. So yes, when I get to the point where I've got more than I need, then I'll just pause that auto delivery. But yes, I'll go through a couple of these, about one package a month, and like every other month I'll get 2 of them. So I'm not nice to my brushes. I have 2 what I would consider nice quality brushes that I use for a lot of my detail painting. Everything else I'm not really nice to.
So for your nice brushes, do you have particular brands that you use?
Yep, I really like. I think I've worn the. There it is. It's the Winsor and Newton. Is the one that I get again. I really like those. I have a couple of number 2s that I use, and then I have a number 1 also I use for some fine detail. But that number 2 Winsor Newton is just a workhorse for me. It does a lot of my detail work for me.
I have some Winsor Newtons, but I rarely use them because, like you, I'm not very kind to my brushes.
So I do a lot of the grunt work with these cheap brushes, and then when I come back through to like pick out details, that's when I'll use my good brushes.
Look at that. Straight away, we're how long are we doing this? We're 5 minutes painting. We're already silent. Everyone's concentrating. Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Does not take long.
What I'll do, so for everybody,
I'm not diving straight off script. This green, the model's green.
I will put in some background painting music. For those of you watching live, let me know if it's too loud or too quiet, and I will adjust it for you.
So you were saying before that you...
Jake is in chat, by the way.
Hey, Jake.
Dwight, you were saying before we went live that you paint a lot of AOS as well.
I do. I paint a lot. I just started painting AOS actually. So I picked up some Firestalkers earlier this year, and I just finished them. And then I got the Dominion box when it came out. I have not even opened it yet. Nice. So, yeah.
Is that you planning on collecting a certain army, or are you just painting them for fun?
So I started off just like I was looking through. I had seen some ads right around the time that they first like started advertising the Curse City box. I was like, wow, these models look really great. So that was the first time I ever really looked at Age of Sigmar at all. And then just looking through it, I was like, oh, we got a bunch of angry ginger dwarves that ride dragons. I'm going to paint those because that just spoke to me. So I picked up a Learn to Paint box or a Start to Paint box for them. And like I said, I just finished them over the weekend. And then the Dominion box came out, and I was like, wow, those look fantastic. I got to get those. So I picked those up too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what I've never actually played any Warhammer at all. I just paint it. So I want to play it, but I just haven't had a chance to get anywhere to play yet. But I buy them based off of it when it inspires me. So
yeah, I mean, I play a lot of 40k, but I was in a store the other day and was just looking at the start playing Age of Sigmar boxes.
Right.
And I was just like, that's like a one-shot in a box.
Yep.
For D&D. Like, but it's a lot of models to paint. But
that's where the Age of Sigmar really spoke to me because of that double duty. I can use this to play Warhammer, or I can throw them on a table during a D&D game too. They really have a good look for that fantasy style.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Joe's been trying to initiate me into Warhammer, and I'm swayed by the minis and the artwork and everything else. But I'm the same. I haven't yet played a game, so I don't know how it plays. But every now and then I'll pop into a shop and I'll send Joe some pictures. Like, should I buy this one? What is it? It says it's a starter set, but I don't know for what. It's got Warhammer on it.
That's for me. Like I've always wanted to play. I bought my first box in just like a starter kit for 40k in January of 2020. And by the time I had enough of it painted to actually play anything, we were in lockdown and haven't really gotten out of it yet, to a point where I'm willing to go to like a shop and learn to play. So what I've been doing instead is I had some friends that bought minis. And like I said, I just finished painting a 40k army, a starter army for my buddy of Raven Guards. So now we actually have enough to play a small game.
Mm-hmm.
So with a friend. So hopefully that works out soon.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to learn how to play something as well, I think, personally. Is just get together and roll dice, make mistakes, and then go, oh, okay, right, I understand now.
Steve, how you doing over there? You all quiet?
Yeah, I'm trying to wet blend.
Trying to remember what you got taught a week ago.
And yeah, I've been watching Angel Morales videos as well, and obviously my attempts at doing this don't look like his, so yeah.
I was just looking at your wet
it's
palette.
The recovery
Is
of
it
when it goes
dribbled?
wrong? That's the thing you learn from experience, I think.
Has your wet palette dribbled, Steve?
So this is the other thing I'm trying to do is use wetter paints than I would normally.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might have over wetted the palette because it's all run off the sheet now. So you don't learn anything by doing the same thing all the time. So
I do.
Do something different.
I do. For me, I'm just clocking up those hours. Where am I? I think I'm up to... I think I'm still under 30 hours.
No, you're over 30 hours now.
No?
Because we hit 24 at the end of season 2, didn't we?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, if you have any questions for Dwight, don't be shy. Please ask in live chat. And if we see your, I know we got our heads down, but if we see any questions, we will happily shout them out and get those answers to you. And hopefully you're chilling with a bit of adventure music in the background. All these monsters as well will be featured. This particular item is. If you missed the beginning, this is Brain Collector from WizKids for Pathfinder battles. A particular nasty encounter in Pathfinder. And it's our first monster to paint. Our first real monster. It's our first non-humanoid monster.
I suppose I was going to say what these things like, but that might be a bit of a spoiler for.
Well, I introduced one because as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, I've got to bring that in. So this is Wave 15 from WizKids. So it's out now. You can buy these in your local game store or direct from WizKids online. But yeah, as soon as I saw this, I was like, at the time, I was still running Rune Lords. And the heroes had to basically storm the castle where the main bad guy was, or where they thought the main bad guy was. And inside was this kind of mirror dimension portal thingy. And I think it was Steve who activated it, Steve's character. And this thing stepped out. And they had to fight it.
How'd that go, Steve? I'm just trying to put him off as much as possible so that...
I can't talk to you, I'm drying my hair.
Steve is actually literally using a hairdryer to dry.
It's a legit tool.
Yeah.
To dry his wet paint mini. His extremely wet painted mini. I was a bit worried by the colour that I chose, because I've chosen this one. This is sick green. But actually, as it's drying, it's a really nice shade of green.
Yes, that sort of like greeny, yellowy colour, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice colour. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I've got paint. My wording of paint my nipple. There we go. There's a pro tip I learned from various professional artists we have had across our... yeah, not literally, Joe, not literally.
I wasn't looking up. I was like, I don't know what he's doing.
One of the pro tips we got from an artist who's been on the show was to paint the tops, paint the tops of your paint bottles, because that gives you a good idea of what the colour looks like when it's dry. So there you go.
Or when you've put it in completely randomly in the carry case.
Yeah.
You put them in the carry case? No.
Yes, or leave them strewn around your desk.
Yeah. I actually put them in the carry case because I'm not at home today. So
Oh, there you go.
I had to transport them. Yeah, minor dimensional portal thingy. Is that a technical term, Dave?
Yeah. It's Pathfinder Core Rulebook, page 343. Haha. Go and check it out. Transfer portal mirror dimension thingy. Well, I mean, we did have Stargate, so I couldn't keep calling it a Stargate, because we'd already done that several times. Is your birdie again, Steve?
Yeah.
You woke him up?
I have.
This one I'm kind of looking forward to. This is one is going back to Jake when it's done.
Oh yeah.
Which that just means I'm going to wind up having to fight it in a home game at some point in the not too distant future. So.
Well, talking of the not too distant future, before we came on air, we were talking about the various projects that you and Jake have going on with MTD, Mini Terrain Domain. I think we've got the links going around. There it is. There was one still in chat at the moment. So please do go check out. That always sounds wrong, doesn't it? Go check out Dwight. Go check him out.
Yeah, we actually... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, go check out his photos on Facebook. There you go. Go check him out.
Yeah,
you got some charity games coming up.
We do, yeah. So, I on Thursday nights, actually I think this is new since the last time I was on here. I have traditionally streamed paint streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and earlier this spring I just found that solos painting got kind of tedious, and while I enjoy it, I was just like looking for people to come hang out with me while I was painting.
Yep.
And through that process, wound up having some friends of mine that started joining, and then they brought some other people, and next thing I knew, we have a group of about 4 to 6 people that kind of jump in and out, and they're from all over the world. I have one friend that's in Australia, one that's in Ireland, one in Canada, and a couple in the US. And so we started doing this called the International House of Minis.
Very nice.
And we do that on Thursday nights, and we're going to do a fundraiser in November. It's the second weekend in November. I can't remember. I think it's the 13th, 12th and 13th, something like that.
Yep.
But we'll be raising money for Planned Parenthood coming up here, and we'll be doing mini painting and tabletop RPGs and a couple other things. But we're going to do probably Friday night, Saturday night, and maybe into Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if y'all wanna, if anybody's interested in coming and checking that out, we'd love to have you. We'll also, Jake and I will also be involved in the third member of Mini Train Domain is Jordan Beard, D&D Jordan Lee, and she is doing a big fundraiser the first weekend in November. So we'll be involved with that as well.
Cool, fantastic.
So yeah, just follow along. We'd love to see you there.
Yep, definitely. The hardest thing with getting on live with the States, because when you do something in your evenings,
right,
it's
late.
It's 3 a.m.
Right.
So I mean, I did a stream yesterday with Session Zero for called Mid-Level Crisis, which is a fantastic name, and it's Ryan and Dylan. Dylan is let's say the owner of Cantina 13. Ryan is the owner of Session Zero, who do t-shirts and RPG themed t-shirts. And it was great to hang out with them, but it was a 10 p.m. for me start.
Right.
Go live at 11 p.m. and we finished, I think, 2:30 in the morning, my time.
Oh yeah, yep. That
So,
makes for a long day.
Yeah, straight to bed afterwards. But
we will be doing some earlier in the day stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can find something that they won't have to start at 7 p.m. like we normally do here.
Yeah.
We can start stuff a little bit earlier, especially on the Saturday. So hopefully we can find some times that work.
Yeah, the weekends have worked really well. We've done some international stuff on the weekends, and that has worked really, really well. Even if we get up early, because we were doing some stuff. We did some stuff with Australia a few weeks back, and because they're 8 hours ahead of us, 12 hours ahead of us,
right?
And yeah, so that was what was it, Steve? A 6 a.m., 7 a.m. start?
Yeah, it was 6 a.m. Set up, go live a little bit later in the morning, and then we finished early afternoon, one mid-afternoon on the other, and that worked out really nice, and you got the rest of the day to do what you want. So that timing wise worked really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, early evening or mornings, if we are doing international stuff, is a really good crossover. It's just getting the time difference to work.
Right.
Apologies, I had a phone call.
No problem. Good news?
Yeah.
Do you want to announce it?
I told you what I'd get whilst we were live.
Yep.
No, just that I am going to be at Ali's again this year, which is a scare maze in the UK. Chasing people around, scaring the life out of them throughout the whole of October.
Probably.
Yeah. And if you want to know what maze I'm on, you're going to have to come find me. Before I find you.
He's already getting into the swing of it. Look. He's in the penitentiary, but you didn't hear it from me. He could be anywhere, folks. Probably behind you. So you get to carry a chainsaw, do you, Joe?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a run after people with chainsaws. Generally make people scream. It's quite fun.
This particular mini, I was initially worried by it because it looked a bit lumpy, because of the texture and its stuff. But actually, once the paint has dried, that texture looks amazing.
Looks really good, yeah. I love minis like this because you can make a mini like this with all this texture on it look amazing.
Yeah.
With not as much effort as you would think is what I will say. You still got to know how to use the proper techniques, but this is actually a mini like this is one I would suggest to a beginning painter, because this would take base coat, wash, dry brush like a champ. You'd be able to make this look absolutely stellar with just that beginner 3-step paint job. And but I think a lot of beginners would look at a piece like this and be like, no way, I can never do that. But
yeah, this is actually looking really good. What colour am I going to do? I'm going to do the claws in the same green. I'm also trying not to be, as you say, so gentle with it, and just
have at it.
Get the colour on there. So I'm gonna pick on Joe and Steve again and say, what were your colour scheme ideas? Are you going off script?
No, I'm very much on script. You can probably see it ish on camera at the moment. Actually, I'll just zoom in, would be easy, wouldn't it?
Okay.
I'm also going for like greens, but I've gone for a darker. Where are we? I've gone for like a darker green underneath.
Yeah, we've all got different shades of green though. Look.
A lighter green, yeah. I've gone a lot more earthy.
Steve's already going for the wet blend on those eyeball knee joint things.
Yeah, I'm painting bits rather than covering the whole mini.
Yeah. And then anyone using their shifter paints?
Nope. No, not today.
Not today.
I did just put my arm in my wet palette though, so there's that.
You shifting paint then?
Yeah. Yeah. Another good tip is to use your friends' paintbrushes so you don't knack your own ones. Thanks, Will.
There you go.
He's not even here at the minute. So,
I was going to say, is he there, or are you just like at his house?
No, he's not here right now. He's gone to help someone with some electrical stuff, so doesn't even know that I'm massacring one of his dry brushes.
My brain filled in the rest of that sentence. He doesn't even know I'm at his house.
Yeah.
That's what spare keys are for.
Yeah.
What colours have you gone for, Dwight? Gone quite.
I have my base is this verde olive. I don't know. It's a camo olive green from Vallejo, and then I'm mixing in. So for the purples, I've got a mixture of this stormy blue, just a standard purple, and then black. And you can see I've just kind of mixed a bunch of stuff together on my wet palette here, trying to go. And I've done a good bit of wet blending here too, in between the color shades. So
yeah, I'm not brave enough to tackle the big area just yet. I'm building up from the legs first.
Right. And again, I love the wet blend stuff like this because I feel like I can just be kind of sloppy with it because it's a big ugly monster anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not going to have things that blend perfectly together. It's going to look weird and off.
Mm-hmm.
Wet blending is one of those things that is incredibly frustrating to learn, and to get the feel right, because you'll just, at least for me, I found myself just going back over it over and over again. Nope, that doesn't look right, and then you would stretch one color too far, and you have to clean that up, and it took me many tries to get to where I felt comfortable doing it.
That's when we was doing it last week. I asked exactly that question: how do you know when enough is enough, and just to stop?
Mm-hmm. It's
just can't stop.
I wish there was an answer to that question. I don't know. I couldn't answer that question for any technique. I whether it's dry brushing or wet blending or glazing. I have to, and actually the fire stalkers that I just painted, that was a project that I made myself. It's like my mantra was be okay with it just being okay, because I want to nitpick every little detail and keep adding this and tweaking that. So I was like, just get this good enough to look good at arm's length and then put it away. And that's a tough thing for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. To get table ready rather than like parade ready, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Terms, right? Yeah, and also you're your own worst critic.
Right. Like I'll look at stuff like one of my least favorite things to do, and I kind of like, one, I do it because one, I like to share what I do, but two, I also sell commissions, so I like to have my work out there for people to see. But man, putting a picture up on Twitter or Instagram or whatever is, because I'll look at it and be like, oh god, what about that right there? What about that right there? And 90% of the people that look at it aren't going to see it, but I will.
Yeah. Oh, I'll do that.
Is there any special techniques you do on this particular model to try and increase the texture? Because the texture's already there in the model, obviously, but there are some techniques you can use.
Yeah, you can
to make it more prominent, can't you?
Yeah, you can stipple your brushes, so just kind of tapping a brush onto the piece to kind of leave a little bit of texture there. Especially when I get to, so like now that I'm kind of moving into more detail-based painting, what I like to do is I like to think about it like I'm not putting paint onto this model. I'm letting the model take the paint off of my brush, so just real light strokes, so that you just let that texture grab the paint off your brush versus pressing it on. And I think you get a much better pickup of those textures that way.
Right.
I heard you say y'all are about wrapping up your season 2 here.
Season 3 for Brush
Season
Off.
3.
Yeah. So we've got Jake Norman. You've probably heard of him.
I've heard.
He's on in a couple of weeks' time. And we'll be painting our second monster, which is a giant centipede, also from WizKids Wave 15. And that's got a really nice blend of colours. And it's weird. It's one of those things that in both Pathfinder and D&D, there's always these giant insects. They're always popular. So yeah, now we've got a giant centipede to paint, and
That thing looks super cool as well.
Yeah,
One of those things where you take things that weird people out in real life, and you just make it big and mean.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you've got a great monster to fight against.
I was going to try to use my paint stick on this one, but he's not having it. Got too much wobble. And our last guest of the season is going to be Ray Nix. Again, fantastic artist, stateside. And that will take us, that will be the end of October. And then November we'll take a break. Then it's December. And December, there's hopefully Christmas parties and Christmas presents and all kinds of things going on. We are going to be Joe and Steve, we haven't actually spoke about this, and I thought about it yesterday. Is we are now at the back end of September. Where did this year go? Even though we spent it at home, we need to start planning our Christmas party.
Yep.
Our live stream Christmas party. So, Dwight, if yourself and Jake are able to join us on whatever afternoon that happens to be on, it'll be evening for us. We'll be drinking, but you are welcome to just jump in Zoom and hang out and chat. And if you've got a beer and you don't mind drinking in the middle of the afternoon,
never.
Then that's
Never.
that's fine.
I am Irish and English as so yeah, drinking is not something that bothers me at any point of the day.
Same here.
So yeah, come on, it's basically just hang out and have a chat, really. And we're just going to celebrate the year, highs and lows as much as we can. But hey, we made it. Stuff to be thankful for and everything else. So that's what we'll be doing.
Sounds great.
Focus, or is it all just washed out? I don't know.
Oh, that's grim.
Oh, let's have a look, Joe.
We'll try and turn the light. Let's see if the light.
So how have you painted the brain sack?
I used just a shade, like a wash. I didn't even put anything underneath it.
That's a wash.
Yeah, a crimson wash.
Wow.
I thought I would just give it a try. I tried it on a tiny little corner first of all. I was like, that looks very brain-like. It's actually a Citadel wash. It's Caramber Crimson.
Yeah.
I don't know, they've all got weird names.
I get a lot of use out of that wash. I love that color.
Yeah, because from painting a friend of mine's Death Guard, a lot of it is just washes on white to make this like really dirty, grimy looking thing. So I've started trying to do a lot more painting with washes rather than just paint, if that makes sense, rather than just using a wash as a wash.
I use washes as an easy glaze a lot.
Yeah.
Just to kind of affect the color a little bit.
I'm going to let my little brain collector dry for a second. I'm just going to see if I can quickly paint up the stone base. And then add some stuff to it, I think. So Dwight, again, before we went on air, you mentioned various commissions and other stuff, but you've got some. It's not just Warhammer and fantasy stuff. You've been doing some Star Wars.
Yeah. I actually have. I got just for this one here. This is the one I'm working on right now for my friend Jay Neophet. So yeah, got some Star Wars guy going here. Well, maybe.
And is that for a game or?
Yeah, this is a Legion character, so this is basically Star Wars version of 40K.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Star Wars is my jam. That's the thing that got me into all things science fiction fantasy. So I absolutely love Star Wars. I bought a Legion set and one of the first things I learned to paint. But I have given most of it away at this point. But yeah. I'll paint just about anything.
That looks cool. Did look cool. So do you also do the spaceships and bits and pieces?
I've done I just did a tank. It was an Imperial tank a little while ago. I have not all the vehicles that I've done have been commissions. I haven't purchased any for myself yet, but I did. So I did a Stormtrooper on a dewback. That was pretty fun. Similar to this, where there's just a lot of texture on the beast, so you can really pull a lot of detail out with that, which was nice. And then again, just the Imperial tank, transport tank. Jay sends me a lot of stuff to paint for him. It's nice. He does a lot. He runs a lot of Star Wars games, tabletop games, and likes to have the minis and whatnot. So he sends them to me to paint, and I'm more than happy to do that for him.
Do you, for example, Stormtroopers? Do you ever go off script? Have you painted them different colors and?
I have done a couple that were. Not really, I wouldn't say off script, but more like kind of like the Clone Wars, where you have a little more of the custom paint details.
Yeah, like the regiment and the
exactly,
stripes in different places. Yeah.
But I most of what I do is I paint a lot of battle damage and weathering.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just
that's nice. Yeah.
White looks boring to me. It's boring to paint too, so I like to paint battle damage on that. So
what did you think of Bad Batch?
I loved it. Please give me more.
Yeah, they're doing another season, right?
I believe they are. Yes.
They better be. Or we riot, right?
Great. Yeah, it seems to have gotten the fan base behind it, so I can't imagine they won't do more.
Yeah.
So this particular mini comes with an extra. So you get an extra piece. This has a little bag inside, because if you missed it at the start, let's get this thing open. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Ooh. So this is the brain collector. This is what it's supposed to be, and he's got domes. Now under each dome is a brain. Look at that. So they actually give it a dome. Let's see if I can get one out just to check for sizing. Oh, it's a hard plastic. I thought it would actually be a soft plastic. That's quite nice actually. I like that.
What do you do? Just attach them with super glue? Or?
Super glue, I would imagine. Yeah.
They've got sticky bottoms.
No, they do not have sticky bottoms. Oh, that's going to be so gross once it's on there.
It's like a big spider, Dave.
You know what I would like to do? Because you can see the brain inside. That is quite nice. You know, like a snow globe. You put a little bit of liquid in there,
Oh yeah.
I
that'd
wonder
be
if you
cool.
could do that.
I don't know if it would seal properly though.
No.
Yeah.
And just wind up leaking all over. Maybe a gel. You could get
Yeah.
like a
Oh, I've lost it.
gel in there.
Oh, no, he's caught it with his legs. There we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the only other problem with opening those is like they're just going to go everywhere and you'll lose them all.
Mm-hmm.
Different colour to paint inside the mouth. They've gone for the same colour as the brain stuff.
I put the dome on, I can't get it off now. Maybe you don't need super glue. The tricky thing is, it's round, so I can't grab hold of it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Done it. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a go. No, I think I need a couple of shades of purple. I think. I don't know. Purple on there. I definitely like the idea of purple brains. Maybe a purpley reddy colour. Let's try. Steve, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm alright. Just trying to get this to where I'm happy, really. Still a load of detailing to go. No way I'm going to finish this. I'm just going to try and portray the effect I was trying to achieve.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish with that. See how far we get. Talking of which, how long have we got left?
We have just passed the hour, so we have 45 minutes.
Okay. We'll see.
It's you know, they've got these eyeballs on the legs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be the tricky thing. I'm wondering if that's just a. I was going to cheat and probably do the eyeballs the same colour as the teeth, and then maybe drop in some red around the base of it, that it sink in there and dry.
So a little hint, that'd be a great spot to use a wash if you've got anything that's red, or like a really thinned down red pigmented paint.
Yep.
And just kind of let it just slightly color the base of the eyeball. So it looks more like bloodshot, kind of thing. I can show you that here in a second too, because that's what I was gonna do.
I'm gonna paint a brain, paint a single brain, and then see what it looks like when it's dry. Because they're quite nice. They're in their own domed cavities, so they actually do have quite a nice rim.
Probably another one where you could just sort of drop the wash in.
What?
Let it fill, so paint it in one colour and then wash it with
Yeah.
darker version.
What if you use? Oh, what if you? I'm gonna say it a lot. What if you used a gloss varnish on the brains?
Yeah, to make them all like look.
Yeah, slimy.
Slimy and liquidy,
wet.
right?
Because you don't have to put the domes on all of them, do you? You can just.
Even if you put the domes on, I'm sure it will still look shiny underneath, no?
Doesn't gloss varnish work by the light reflecting off of it? So if you just put the dome on, the light would just reflect off the dome instead. That is probably why they give them to you, probably.
Yeah. The domes actually look quite thick. I mean, they're tough. They're not squishy domes. I was thinking that they might be like, rubber stoppers, that kind of
Oh yeah.
rubbery, but they're not actually quite. They are quite firm. That is equally gross. I'm loving it.
So do these things eat people's brains? Does it
Yes.
lessen people's
They can. I tell
wisdom,
you what.
or
I will get the beastry. Here we go. Let's have a look.
because they remind me of what they're called. Are they brain devourers, or what's the ones in
Intellect
devourers.
intellect
Yeah.
devourers? Yeah.
So the brain collector.
But intellect devourers are obviously a lot smaller than these. So
Yeah.
that's what my
Okay, I'll read the whole thing out because this is quite interesting, chaps. Here we go. The brain collector. Let's move him out of the way. So there you go.
I mean, it's interesting to me.
Yeah. So this is the Pathfinder 2. My camera's all zoomed in, so you're not going to be able to see much. Anyway, this is the beastry, page 46. The brain collector, the grotesque brain collectors, or Nephlagus, as they call themselves. The Nephlagus. Originate. Yeah, exactly. Originate from Scotland. Originate from worlds far beyond the known solar system and are part of a conglomeration of hostile aliens known collectively as the Dominion of the Black. Whether driven by their own schemes or directed from sinister overlords, brain collectors arrive in living starships to harvest the brains of intelligent creatures. Now this is Pathfinder, this is not Starfinder. So be aware that there is a crossover here. These aberrations draw no nutrition from brains, instead storing them for analysis and as vessels for occult magical energies. A brain collector's form evokes that of a tailless scorpion, but the pulsing brain-filled blisters that glisten along its back make them impossible to mistake for merely oversized arachnids. Baleful eyes glare from joints on their legs, and the unsettling, intrusive whisper thoughts they telepathically broadcast into the minds of those they seek to feed on can be interpreted as threats or promises alike. Brain collectors have very little empathy for the denizens of any world they visit, despite the fact that certain cults venerate them, or the dominion they hail from, as if they were gods. To brain collectors, terrestrial creatures are simply resources for their magical needs and occult powers. They have little interest in worshipping gods or being worshipped themselves, yet they do practice strange forms of religion of their own, in which they consider the primordial forces of deep space as worthy of faith and fear. There you go. Now, part of what it is, based on its stats, a brain collector has 7 brain blisters on its back that it uses to house stolen brains. A brain collector without all 7 blisters full is stupefied with a value equal to the number of empty blisters. Or if a brain collector takes 30 damage from a critical hit, one of its brain blisters bursts.
Nice.
Wow.
To do damage to people that are nearby it. Is that grim?
No, it's
You
just
get showered by brains.
yeah, get brain juice. Yeah, that's so its melee attack is its jaws. So you don't want to get bitten by this thing. Obviously, it's got these 2 giant claws. It can cast spells. It's venomous. There. And it has the collect brain option. The brain collector collects a brain off a creature that has been dead for no more than 1 minute. It can then use as an interact action to secure the brain in one of its empty brain blisters. Oh!
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the history of the Brain Collector for you.
Reminds me of the plot to Skyline, really.
Yeah.
Skyline had a plot.
I'm sure it did when I was presenting it to the studio.
I really need to move my wet palette. I'm not even using it. I keep dipping my arm in it.
I'm going to try and see what this colour's like, and then I'm going to try the wash idea, I think.
If Will turns up, I'm going to tell him I've ruined 3 of his Kaminsky sable brushes. See how mad he gets.
Yeah, do it live.
But I just borrowed some of your brushes. A couple of them are a bit balked.
Yeah, what, Kaminsky?
Yeah.
What's this rubbish?
Mm-hmm.
I already know what his answer will be.
Right, that's looking good. I'm going to try the wash idea though. Let's try that. I say that like I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try a wash. Which I've only really used on transparent minis. Not on a solid. So I have no idea what this is going to. Let's try. Oh yeah, very different. I'm using a red wash. What have I got? What is this? Red Scarlet Wash, and I've just put that into a brain blister,
Mm-hmm.
and it, yeah, that is looking like a recently removed brain, as you would see in a horror film. You know, where the bits, the segments of the brain look darker than the top.
Scanners. Is that a film with the? Oh, that's a film with the guy's head exposed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, scanners. Yep.
So the other day at work, we had some leftover concrete, so I started making a mountain out of it. You know, like in Close Encounters.
Well, you're supposed to use a potato, but yeah.
Yeah.
Did your kids know what you were doing though? You're like, it's Close Encounters. They're like, what?
No, it was whilst I was at work. The person I'm working with, Benny, was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Have you not seen Close Encounters?" Like, right. You weirdo. Yep.
I wonder if that looks pretty good, the wash. And I'm wondering now if I can use. I have a purple wash, a violet wash.
Mhm.
I wonder if that will look just as good.
Yeah, you can put them on top of each other as well if you wanted. I'd wait for one to dry before you did the other one on top, though. That's what your plans were.
No, I was thinking like the main, like the top of the head, to do in violet, and then the brains in this red wash, because that looked really gory. came out better than the purple did. Let's try.
I spotted a patch that I missed painting. But... we have to turn upside down at a weird angle, so I don't think anyone's going to see it.
But you'll know, Joe. You'll know, Joe. No matter what angle it will be, you'll know. It'll be 5 years from now. You'll be playing D&D and you'll bring out this mini and you go, "Damn you!"
Yep. Yeah. The party will kill it. I'll turn it upside down and go, "Oh yeah, that bit that I missed."
Hunter's Mark. What bit? The bit that's not painted, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to have that as its like weak point.
Aaron's talking about TPK in a party with one of these, and just remaining sentient afterwards. Blissfully playing along.
Yeah, I
essentially
suppose.
in a ship.
Yeah, it could be a whole other adventure where each of you controls a limb.
Just have to go and find more bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, the urge to harvest more brains becomes ever and ever more powerful.
What's the is there like a challenge rating? I'm not familiar with Pathfinder, so I don't know how that works, but is there a challenge rating to these? Like, are they I'm assuming they're kind of more of a high level monster.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, you can scale whatever you wanted to. Let's just have a quick look. There are challenge ratings. There we go. Let's see. It is a challenge rating of 8, which is in the middle. So it's
Yeah. That seems about right. That's your bigger.
Yeah. It is an uncommon large aberration. But also, it's always interesting when you get fantasy settings and says, look, here's an alien, which is on a living ship, and it's not Starfinder.
There we go. We got. Oh, sorry, Karen.
I was going to say, but it is in Starfinder. You can find these in Starfinder.
We've got a question in chat. What sci-fi or fantasy TV show or movie series have you always wanted to be a tabletop RPG that is currently?
Ooh.
Well, they've just done Transformers. That'd be a good one. And they've just done G.I. Joe.
What is a RPG?
Yep. They've just done Power Rangers as well. Basically, Hasbro are having a really good time at the moment. Oh, I don't know. Battle of the Planets.
See, there's a TV show that I wish I could get. You know the thing in Men in Black where they wipe your brain?
Yeah.
Just so that I could go back and rewatch it again, and that is Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah.
The original?
No, I do like the original,
sci-fi?
but the one with what's the face in it? Whose name I can't remember. I can't remember what her name is now. The female
Starbuck.
Starbuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And all the accompanying spin-off, like, is it Razor?
Yep. The movie or miniseries or whatever it was.
There was like one season that was a bit of a dip, but even that I really loved. So that would be my.
You know that is a role-playing game already.
Oh well, there you go.
That's the thing, is pretty much everything is a role-playing game these days. Like it's actually, it's either, there's a lot of published stuff out there for just about everything.
Yep.
And if you can't find it published, you can usually reskin something else. So like, I know somebody mentioned here Tron would be a good one. I don't think there's an official Tron RPG, but I've played in Tron games before.
Yeah.
Where they've like skinned.
Cyberpunk, you could probably have a Tron-related type situation on the bikes, right?
Absolute Tabletop, who's I know them through Jake. They're an indie publisher here in the States, and they have one. It's called the Mecha Hack, which is, you know, it's a relatively rules light mech based RPG, but you can easily reskin. And I played in a Tron game where they use that, and like all the cool stuff that you do in Tron was just reskinned Mecha Hack system. And that was an awesome game. I played in that one. I just picked up the Dune RPG, which I'm still reading through that because it's a completely different rule set. But that's one I've always wanted to play. So I'm looking forward to. That's probably my favorite sci-fi property, anyways. So
I'm super looking forward to the film,
the movie. Yeah. October 22nd. Not that I'm counting the days or anything.
Well, apparently it's already out in some countries, right?
It's been there's previews that have been out, so they've seen it at, people have seen it at festivals, but I don't think it's actually released anywhere, or at least not that I'm aware of.
I'm literally waiting for the washers to dry because I've run out of digits to hold on to.
Yeah, I've been having a similar problem. Keep rotating.
Yeah.
I moved to the to putting my domes on while I'm waiting for all the washers to dry.
Are you gluing them in?
Yep, just a little dollop of super glue.
Yeah.
In there, just to hold them in place.
Ulysses 31 that would make a great tabletop RPG.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Which one? Ulysses.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what Baron's saying. It's a good shout.
If you're getting into cartoons, it'd be something like Jake and the World Warriors.
I used to love Jason the World Warriors.
Jace, yeah.
So good. I remembered another one the other day that was kind of almost a bit of inspiration for my character from your Thursday night game with the shield. And that's, do you remember is it the Hollow Knights? What's it called? Yeah, but there was another one that was same sort of deal, right?
Mask.
I think it was Mask.
It was called Mask, wasn't it? Where they had totems, hologram totems, and they used to turn into the creatures.
No, Mask had vehicles, didn't they?
There was one that had like the shields, and the shields would like the creatures would jump out of the shield.
Yeah, it's the same thing I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think some were banners and some were shields.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And it was only ever one season. That
there was a lot of that in the like 80s, wasn't there? Like
a lot of that now, really.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
Speaking of which, have you seen the new He-Man? This is not the Kevin Smith He-Man. This is the new
one for the kids show.
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
I saw it today.
The animation looks quite good.
Yeah. It's just again they've
reskinned it almost.
Yeah, it's an origin story, but everything is the same but different. So the hardest thing is like the original He-Man, Prince Adam, holds aloft his magic sword and says, and becomes really muscly. But he was never, when he was Prince Adam, he never really seemed childish. Mm-hmm. And what they've done in this one is he is a teenage boy, I think he's supposed to be a teenage boy, who when he turns into He-Man, he's got like super huge arms, a tiny waist, and non-existent legs. I mean, his legs have just disappeared. Okay, he has bigger legs when he's Adam, but he's still got the mind of a boy. He's like,
Right.
how do I? And he's waving the sword around, trying to hit these like there are robots chasing him. And he's trying to hit them like it's a fly swatter.
I was never a big He-Man fan personally, so that's why I haven't.
And then they've got all these like pre-recorded moves where he like powers up and does this sword slash along the ground that turns into a giant fireball and decimates everyone. But you can only do that like once an episode or something.
So, well done, you've gained enough XP to use your special move.
Well, I was actually reading about it. It's designed that way because they said the kids today, they relate to video games,
Yes.
the video game powers. So yeah, that's very much something they can look and see. And I mean, I hear my kids talking about that stuff, and it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I mean it looks like Final Fantasy. So every time you do your power up move is exactly the same.
I was always a visionaries. Yes, thank you.
Visionaries fight for the magical light.
That's what I was thinking of. 10 internet points to Baron Stonehands. Yeah, I was always more of a Thundercats fan than He-Man personally.
Thundercats.
Thundercats and Voltron were my jam back in the day.
Great.
Thundercats for me as well.
Thundercats, Transformers.
Do you think he was Thundercats or like He-Man? Do you think it was kind of like that sort of situation?
I think it probably was actually, yeah.
Like Blur and Oasis. I know that probably means nothing to Blight, but like.
Oh no, that's right in my wheelhouse.
Okay, cool.
I'm a mid '90s kid, so
nice.
in high school, so I know all about that.
Yeah.
And Mysterious Cities of Gold for me as well.
Yes, that's good.
No, I never really liked that one. And then there was that one with that group of kids who go on a roller coaster ride, and then he's got this like weird magical bow. But that'll never catch on. Can't remember that one at all.
Yeah, again, the fact that it was one season, wasn't it? Oh no, I think it was a couple of seasons of that, right? But it never finished.
They never made it home.
No. Stuck forever in the Shadow Realm. I do like Steve, I think it was you that said this before, that the guide you think was also what's the bad guy's name in it?
Avenger.
Was it you that said that was what you always thought?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was like when
There is an episode where Dungeon Master is Venger, or Venger's in disguise.
Yeah. But it would make sense as well, right? For it to just have been Venger all along.
Yes, it would. Let's get what's the kid guy who was. Look, Thundercats I think was my favourite.
Yeah. I even know it's Thundercats lunchbox. That's how cool I was.
He says getting beaten up in the playground.
Yeah. Character building. Let's go with that one.
I need a small broom.
That's the problem with just dumping all your paints in a box and hoping that you bring all the ones that you actually need.
You didn't bring all of them?
No.
But what if the one you need is the one you don't have?
If the one I need and I don't have, I'm going to start looking at Will's paint. He's got a whole wall full of them as well, so I'm sure if I don't have it, he possibly does.
Is this the only reason you're not using shifter paints? Is because your rules house don't have them?
I didn't bring them on purpose because I knew the model we were painting. I didn't think that I would use them. So.
Right.
So I knew I kind of wanted to do it in like greens and earthy tones. Or... We've got a time check, Dave.
We have just passed the half hour, so we were a little bit late going live. So let's say we've got 20 minutes.
Cool.
I'm just painting some eyeballs.
That's exactly what I'm doing now.
So Dwight, sorry, go on.
No, you.
I was going to say to Dwight, what's your next? What's next on the painting list?
So I have a couple of. I think my next big project is going to be starting this Dominion box actually. So I have still about 80% of the Curse City box to do, but I've kind of shelved that for right now because there's a bunch of other stuff I really want to paint instead. But yeah, this Dominion stuff, I really like the look of Age of Sigmar, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting that. And then I have a bunch of, I picked up a bunch of Space Marines on eBay that I've stripped so that I can add to my Blood Angels army. So, again, that I haven't played yet, but I've got a real basic. I think it's about 1,000 points so far of Blood Angels painted, and another 1,000 or so of just basic models to add to that.
Still pretty good going having 1,000 points painted, but
yeah, took me a couple years to get it done, but. Ooh, did not need that much. Okay.
1,000 points is enough to have a good game and see if you like it enough to play it. Or if you just want to paint the models.
I quite like the look of those bigger models though. Like those 6-inch, 8-inch, 12-inch Space Marines.
The Funko Pop things, whatever they're called. No, what are they called?
Is it the McFarlane ones?
McFarlane, that's one.
Yeah, some are painted and some are unpainted, and it looks quite nice. Again, I still like the idea of doing some kind of diorama.
I think if I was to get one of those, I would heavily attack it with like a Stanley blade or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be really weird because you spent out loads of money on this like pristine looking thing that you
then tear apart.
Yeah. Like we were saying with the Stormtrooper, I don't think I could paint it pristine and clean.
Yep.
I know that a lot of people, when they paint Space Marines and stuff, it's all like fresh off the assembly line.
Yeah, I don't like that. The more I've when I first painted, I knew nothing about lore, at all. I just painted because that's what they looked like. So I was just trying to get the techniques down and whatnot. And I basically decided everything out because if like the Space Marines shouldn't be pristine. They're down and dirty and getting in the middle of stuff. Why would they be all pretty and gleaming all the time? So
yeah, I agree. Makes them look like they've lived. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the pupils on the eyes on these things are huge.
Yes.
You're doing the knee eyeballs.
Yeah. The knee eyeballs. Such a weird. Are you going to try and do the pupils? You're painting those as well, Dave, aren't you? Or are you painting the little ones?
I'm trying to paint the little ones with just dots of. I've got a fluorescent, but I think my brush is knackered. She's not helping me.
I'm liking this model. I knew I was going to like it when I saw it.
Yeah, this one kind of jumped right out to me.
It's all the textures and the like.
Yeah.
I like something that's got lots of edges.
I took a gamble and I think it paid off. I painting over these blisters with some Carroburg Crimson Wash, which is giving just a little bit of a bloody hue.
Nice.
So it looks like they're just kind of bubbling out of the scalp. Worked out well.
I think I'm going to go for a black pupil. Something a bit more. Striking. I don't know what.
In crunch time, nobody's talking.
Yeah. That's what generally happens is everybody's like, must finish.
Right. I found my our Thursday night show, our International House of Minis, we have a couple of people that don't paint. They just friends hang out with us. So it keeps the conversation going really well because there's a couple of us that really get really, really get into our minis.
Zoned in.
Yep. See Cole in chat here. She's one that hangs out with us on Thursday nights.
Twice so much darker than everybody else's. I'm genuinely surprised Joe hasn't used shifters on the brains. Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd try a different technique to it than just resorting back to something that I know works for certain.
I'll probably end up buying a couple more of these minis. They're actually quite nice.
And because they're a little bit bigger, a bit more comfortable with paint.
Yes.
Which is nice.
I'm painting with a wash over a bit of purple brain. Just to see what, again, just a experimento. And then what I want to do is get a really and then let's try a bit of this. Okay, we are 1 minute. Unless you really need a couple of minutes just to finish it, we are 1 minute. I'm just gonna try a little experimentum. Where I was moving around, I've rubbed off his kneecap eyeballs. There we go, let's put some more on.
Sweet. I'm happy with that.
Let's see what this one does. How's everybody doing?
I think I'm good.
Yep.
Are we good to show off? If that is the case, paintbrushes down.
Steve's like, no.
Oh, let's put that on there. Right. I keep wanting to put I haven't got my gloves on. Right. Let's have a look. So let's Dwight. Let's start with you. If we can get a good look at the mini there.
Okay. So let's see if that'll.
See, straight away, the color scheme to me just, I don't know why, but I just saw the Predator's face.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, I did again a wet blend from purple at the top into the green towards the bottom.
Yep.
And then yeah, so this is just wet blending the base coat. Then I washed. I used a green wash on the green, a blue wash, and then over top of that a red wash on all the purple stuff, and then I just dry brushed, and then did some highlighting as well. But yeah, just kind of trying to pick out some of the texture, to give it some depth and whatnot. So yeah, this was a fun one to paint. So and then again, I went over these little blisters with a red wash that's kind of just giving a little bit of a bloody hue to them, which I really dig. So yeah.
When you can, it'd be great to see some. If you chuck some photos on socials, that'd be great.
I'll probably do that right after we're done here. I'll tag you on those. So yeah.
So mine is. I was just looking at everyone's color schemes. Mine's a little bit more kind of toy-like. Mine's one of those McDonald's Happy Meals brain collectors. There you go. So the color scheme.
You were talking He-Man. That looks like something out of the old He-Man toy line.
I like it. It's a transformed Cringer. There we go. What I tried here is this brain right there. I got some clear varnish on there, just kind of give it a shiny brain, and that's worked out really well. I've got no wash on here. The purple itself is a wash, but I need to go back and this is definitely not finished. I need to do some proper washing and some dry brushing on there. You can see I've got the eyeballs in, but there's no pupils. I managed to get these little pinprick eyes. I've used a different shade of green. I've got the classic red dot inside the mouth. So again, all of this needs a proper wash. But I'm loving the texture. That has come out really, really well. Because it just looks solid. It's got what's the word? Carapace, yeah. So it's already got armor plates on that thing, and look how these things look It's got me. See, and then I also did the floor, which is just I painted it the same color as it already was, and added a slightly sticky brown wash. Because he is going to be on top of that when I put it back together. So yeah, here's my my Hasbro, or my Mattel toy version. Right, Steve, let's have a look.
I can see that Battle Cat fight in that one. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Give myself 2 seconds while I zoom in.
It's invisible, Steve.
Right, so I've only painted a small amount because I was really just trying to show off the wet blend, so get this a bit closer, focus that. So I just wet blended the legs. I have painted the eyes, a little bit of orange, and the black dot for the pupils. There's nothing else on here other than the wet blend. I am going to go back over it and do more highlighting.
That's a great colour scheme.
Joints.
Yeah.
There's a really good colour scheme.
And the claw, that's what I was trying to figure out with as we were finishing up. I was trying to do the claw the sort of same colour as the talons at the ends, and trying to bring some red into the edge. I haven't quite got it, so I'm going to have to play around with that a bit more. But going for a bit of a red on the edging, so more crab-like on the claw. But I'm really pleased with how the legs turned out. And
nice.
just doing that wet blend stuff.
Yeah.
So your homework then, Steve, is to finish that and get some photos out.
Yes. I will finish this. I really enjoyed painting this one.
Yeah,
that shows a lot of the, like I did a quick wet blend just for speed painting this one, but it shows how you can really take your time and really bring out a lot of really cool effects. Like that's going to look, I think, fantastic when you're done with it.
Thank you. So yeah, I knew I weren't going to finish this, so I never intended to. I just really want to concentrate on doing something different for change.
Cool.
Thank you.
And Joe.
Yeah, so let's see. Is it going to be too shiny? Let's see. Focus. Come on. I just threw my camera in, so I don't know if it's got the autofocus. It's all set up.
There we go.
There we go. So, I was getting a bit washed out from this light as well.
It looks gold.
It does. Yeah. Very good gold effect on it.
Don't know. There we go. It's not. So it's meant to be a sort of pinky, purpley sort of color on the top here. Kind of went over the edges on the wash to get a sort of grim sort of look to it as well. Wanted it to be all sort of grimy.
Is that the wash right over the prime coat?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just chucked a wash directly onto it, onto the primer. I've got all the. Where are we?
So there's no base coat at all.
No.
Wow.
No, just straight in with a wash, with like a sort of reddy purple wash on it. A lighter green on the tops of the body and the legs, and then underneath I've done a sort of darker green, but I gave it all the same wash, just to give it a sort of underneath being in the sort of shadows or shade, I suppose. Yeah. Any issues with my focus?
That is looking really good. So Dwight, what we've done in season 3, we've got rid of our little gold stars, but we still have bragging rights. So you still get to choose a winner. Who do you think?
Oh man.
Has done?
Man.
I
like all three of these. So I mean, I think I would have to pick Steve if it was more painted, but that's my favorite. I really love that wet blend. I really like the kind of completely different color scheme that Joe's got, but I really think that He-Man paint scheme is speaking to me tonight. So,
hey.
9-year-old Dwight is going to pick Dave. So
He-Man. There we go. Look at that. That is your.
Yeah.
Imagine getting that in your Happy Meal though. Your McDonald's
I would
Happy
have
Meal.
lost my mind. That would be so great.
Literally.
That is amazing. Thank you very much. That is so cool. Yeah, that is great. I'm gonna have to. I like the fact that Steve did the like the feet as bone as well. I might have to change mine up and do that. But again,
is that not what it's like in there? Because I only again off memory was on the back of the card.
No.
Is that not what it's like on the back of the card?
No, it's just all one colour.
Oh right, okay. That was a happy accident.
Yeah.
To Bob Ross.
But that looks good. But it was yeah, I like that idea. But this is one of those models I think that you could, I'm quite tempted to buy a few of these just to do different colour schemes and test them out.
So many different things you could do with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I think
that'd be really nice.
The Beholder and the Iron Golem ones we've got, you could buy 4 or 5 of them and come up with some really good schemes.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. We are going to end it there, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, Dwight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, everybody.
Fantastic to have you back. We're going to continue to do some more. We're hopefully going to be meeting up with Jake and Dwight from MTD for a potential charity game later in the year or early next year, whenever that is. But so stay tuned for details on our various socials for those. But again, as always, absolute pleasure to have you again, Dwight. It's really cool.
Thank you so much for having me. I love to paint, love to talk, and y'all are a treat to hang out with. So thank you very much for the invite.
Cool. I've got our mini cams on still. But anyway, we can go back to being full screen. So yeah, that's really cool. And join us if you're watching us. If you're into games, we have, fingers crossed, we have our epic encounters this Thursday. Friday, we have an Alien RPG interview. And then next week, it's a quiet week next week. We have a few bits going on. I'm not sure if it's a live stream or recorded as live. But when we know more, we'll share it with the crowd. But until then... Oh, and Warhammer on Sundays. War Badger.
Cosmox, it's is it fortnightly?
Which one?
I should know. I'm doing it.
The Great British Brush Off
right?
is fortnightly. Yes.
I just get told we're painting this. Get on.
Yeah. So we're doing this. We've got 2 more episodes to go. So in 2 weeks' time, we're back with Jake Norman. Returning guest artist for all 3 seasons. He's such a gentleman, absolutely fantastic painter. He works with Dwight as well at MTD. Phenomenal. The help and advice he gave us before was I'm still using. So he's really good. And one of my favourite things to paint was the elementals. So he's back next week. We're painting a giant centipede, our second monster. And then 2 weeks after that, we have Ray Nix. Ray Nix is also based in the States and has not just dioramas but entire sets of miniatures and does all these kind of weird and wonderful configurations. So we're really pleased to have him on as well. But until that time, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/bandofbadgers. Every subscription is a big help to us because we're still a small channel. Anything you do to grow is great. And see us on socials. See you next time.
And on here, we're almost at 900.
Yeah, we're almost at 900.
Fantastic.
900 subscribers on Twitch. So, hey, +1.
There we go.
Petroglyph 27. Thank you very much for following us. We're going to go home now. And bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.